If you've ever felt your chest tighten as your voice gets louder and louder, and then suddenly you hear yourself yelling and think, why is this happening again? This video is for you. Not because you're a bad parent, not because you're doing it wrong, but because you care so deeply that it hurts when your child doesn't seem to listen. And here's the part no one tells you. The moment you raise your voice is usually the moment you have already stopped being heard. Today, we're going to talk about how to make your child listen without yelling, in a way that feels calmer, more connected, and surprisingly more powerful. I want you to take a breath with me for just a second, because this isn't about adding more pressure or more rules to your life. It's about understanding what's really happening in your child's brain when they ignore you. And why yelling feels like the only option when you're exhausted, overstimulated, and just trying to get through the day. If you've ever thought, I've asked nicely 100 times, this is the only way they listen. You're not alone, and you're not broken. Before we go any further, if content like this helps you feel a little more understood as a parent, a little less alone, you're always welcome to subscribe to Mind Grooming. We're here to talk about the emotional side of parenting in a way that feels real and supportive, not perfect or preachy. You don't have to, of course, just know this is a safe place to come back to. Now let's talk about the yelling. Most parents think yelling works because it gets an immediate reaction. The room goes quiet, the child freezes, the behavior stops, at least for a moment. But what's actually happening inside your child is not listening. It's survival. When a voice gets loud and sharp, a child's nervous system reads it as danger. Their brain shifts out of learning mode and into fight, flight, or freeze. In that state, they are not absorbing your words, your lesson, or your intention. They're just trying to get through the moment. That's why you can yell the same thing every day and still feel like nothing changes. It's not because your child is stubborn or disrespectful. It's because fear shuts down the part of the brain responsible for reasoning, memory, and cooperation. And once you understand that, something powerful happens. You stop seeing yelling as a discipline tool, and you start seeing it as a sign that connection has been lost. Here's the part that might surprise you. Children listen better to parents who feel emotionally safe, not emotionally loud. Safety doesn't mean permissive. It doesn't mean letting everything slide. It means your child trusts that when you speak, you are in control of yourself, not overwhelmed by them. That sense of calm authority is what actually builds cooperation over time. One of the biggest reasons parents yell is because they repeat themselves too much. You ask once, then twice, then 10 times, and every repetition drains your patience. By the time you yell, you're not reacting to this moment. You're reacting to the last 20 times you felt ignored. Children quickly learn that the first few requests don't really count because nothing happens until the voice changes. Without meaning to, yelling becomes the signal that you're serious. So here's a gentler but far more effective shift. Say it once, maybe twice, and then act. Not in anger, not in punishment, but in calm follow-through. If your child doesn't put on their shoes after you ask, you walk over, kneel down, make eye contact, and help them start. If the toy isn't put away, you calmly remove it and say, we'll try again later. No lectures, no threats, no raised voice. Just action paired with calm words. This works because children learn from consistency, not volume. When your words are always backed by predictable action, they start listening the first time because they trust what comes next. Yelling loses its power when your calm becomes stronger. Another reason yelling happens is because parents talk too much in emotional moments. When we're stressed, we explain, justify, persuade, and lecture. But a dysregulated child cannot process long explanations. The more you talk, the more noise fills their brain. Instead, fewer words said slowly and clearly are far more effective. Think of your voice as an anchor, not a storm. Try lowering your voice instead of raising it. This sounds counterintuitive, but it works because it pulls your child toward you instead of pushing them away. When you speak softly, your child has to pause and tune in to hear you. That pause alone can break the emotional spiral and create space for cooperation. Connection before correction is another key that changes everything. If your child is already upset, distracted, or overwhelmed, they are not refusing to listen. They are unable to listen. Taking 10 seconds to acknowledge their feelings can save you 10 minutes of power struggle. Saying something like, "I see you're having fun and it's hard to stop," doesn't mean you're giving in. It means you're helping their nervous system settle so they can hear you. Once a child feels seen, they're far more likely to cooperate. This is not weakness. This is emotional intelligence. You're teaching your child how to regulate emotions by modeling it yourself. Let's also talk about expectations, because sometimes the yelling comes from asking too much of a tired brain. Children, especially younger ones, struggle with transitions, impulse control, and time awareness. Telling a child to clean their entire room when they're already overwhelmed is a setup for frustration on both sides. Breaking tasks into small, clear steps makes listening easier because the request feels manageable. Instead of clean your room, try put the books on the shelf first, then pause. Then move to the next step. Every small success builds momentum and cooperation without raising your voice. And here's something rarely said out loud. Yelling often comes from unexpressed needs in the parent. You're tired. You're overstimulated. You haven't had a break. You've been holding everything together all day. When your child doesn't listen, it feels personal, like the last straw. But it's not really about the shoes or the toys or the bedtime routine. It's about you needing support too. Giving yourself permission to pause, to breathe, to step away for a moment if it's safe, is not failing your child. It's protecting the relationship. A regulated parent is the most powerful discipline tool there is. If any of this is resonating with you, I'd really love to hear your experience. Have you noticed moments where yelling didn't actually work, or times when staying calm changed everything? You can share in the comments. Your story might be exactly what another parent needs to read today. And if you know someone who's constantly saying, "I hate how much I yell," or who feels stuck in that cycle of guilt and frustration, consider sharing this video with them. Not to judge, but to say, you're not alone, and there is another way. As we come to the end, I want you to remember this. Your child listening is not a measure of your worth as a parent. It's a skill that develops through connection, consistency, and calm leadership. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to never raise your voice again. What matters is the direction you're moving in. Every time you choose calm over yelling, even if it's just one moment a day, you're rewiring both your child's brain and your own. You are teaching them that communication doesn't have to be loud to be powerful. And that lesson will stay with them far longer than any shouted command ever could. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope you leave feeling a little lighter, a little more confident, and a little more gentle with yourself. And whenever you need a reminder that parenting can be calm, connected, and still firm, Mind Grooming will be right here with you.